welcome to Grow and Glow podcast. My name is Gracie Imo, and if you are just joining us for the first time, you are welcome. Today, guys, I'm going to be very vulnerable as usual. So this is a new setup, as you can see. I'm so excited to be here, even though I'm trying to be calm. Well, so you're welcome to a new episode of Grow and Glow podcast. And as I said in the last episode, if I don't release 2 episodes in a month, drag my neck. Well, that will not be happening because I am here again with a new episode. And today we'll be talking about something very special as usual. Today's topic is based on financial literacy. Now, as young people, it's a lot. Now, concerning the aspect of money, how do you save as young people? How do you make money and still have something to eat, something to save for the future? Like, what can you do about that? I am here today with a guest, a very special woman who is here on the show with me to speak on financial literacy. Guys, make some noise for Reni.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Reni.
Hi, Casey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Loving Nigeria.
You have to.
I have to.
Thank you so much for joining me here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I know. Reni, see, if you don't know Reni, go and check her out. Reni is big. So Reni being here is such a privilege. So thank you so much again for joining me here.
Yes, of course. My pleasure.
Yeah. So today Reni is going to be speaking to us on savings strategies for our 20s. Reni, I think you are still in your 20s, right?
Yes, I'm 28, turning 29 this year.
Nice.
So almost out of my 20s. Yes.
Yeah, just entering.
Yeah.
Okay, so Reni has such, she's almost living the 20s, and for sure she has experience in savings. She has experience in managing money. She's what we call Reni the resource, not just any kind of resource, financial resource.
Period.
Yeah. So today she's here to speak to us on that topic. We want to speak on how to save. We want to speak on your journey based on so far how you learned how to save, what you did saving and all those kind of things. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is for us to know about you. So can you introduce yourself, please?
Okay. So hi everyone. I'm Reni. People call me Reni the resource. I am a Nigerian, but I've always lived abroad, so I've never lived in Nigeria. I've lived in Canada for 24 years of my life. I am a financial literacy educator and content creator. So I teach people about investing in the stock market, saving your money, budgeting, all those different types of things. And my journey, you want to start with my journey?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so my journey is, my parents actually I have a very unique situation where my parents taught me about financial literacy from a very early age. Nice. So when I was just 4 years old, my parents started teaching me about financial literacy. Oh. Yes. So we moved to Canada when I was 4 years old, and they opened a bank account for me immediately. Nice. And I think most people, they open a bank account maybe even when they turn 18, 19, when they have their first job or something. But my parents were like, no, from the age of 4, you will have your own bank account. And I even remember it, my parents taking me there, and I had to put my money there. I was so sad, like, who's taking my money?
Are you serious?
I was so upset and sad. And I said, Dad, if I ever want it back, will we be able to get it back? My dad was like, well, you get money back, but it may not be the exact same one that you put in. I started crying. I still remember it. But basically, you know when aunties and uncles would come to the house and they would ask you, like, they would give you money and they would say, here, take this. Oh, yes. And your parents would usually say, let me hold it for you. Yeah. My parents, on the other hand, would say, okay, it's your money. Half of it goes into your bank account. Half of it you can do whatever with. So I really grew up with that culture of saving from a very early age.
Really?
Yes.
So I'm going to divert a little bit. What do you think made your parents have such knowledge on that?
Yeah. So my parents left Nigeria when they were in their 20s. Oh, okay. So about, I don't know how long ago, in the 80s, they left Nigeria and they moved to England. And my dad realized that he knew nothing about money when he moved there. Like the system there is completely different from Nigeria's system. So he was like, okay, I need to figure out my money. I need to figure out how money works. And he just started reading books. And he actually went to some seminar by the brothers. They're called the Motley Fool, and they're the Motley brothers. So he went to their seminar. And they taught him about financial literacy. And since that day, he was like, my kids will be financially literate, my grandkids will be financially literate, I will be financially literate, everybody. So even his brothers, his sister, all of them have learned about finance from him. So
wow.
Yeah. So
God, I need to know him more. Wow, that's impressive. Yeah. Like this is something like, we're speaking to young people. And I like that your dad had that decision and he made it pass down to you. and I'm sure you'll pass it down to your children. So anyone listening, please take on some steps that would help your generation.
Yes,
it's very
definitely.
important. So I know it's all over the internet. You bought a house at 23.
Yes, I did.
How did you do it?
Okay, so remember when I told you my parents taught me about saving since I was very early, from a very early age. So when I was 18, my dad said, okay, you've been saving a lot. Now it's time to start investing. And I was like, okay, let's start investing. So he taught me about what investing is. I was investing in the stock market at the time. He taught me a little bit about that. And then he told me that you can put your money here and it will grow exponentially more than a savings account. So I was like, okay. So I was working a job at the time at a shoe store, making $9 an hour. So not that much, minimum wage at the time. And I just decided to invest half of my paycheck every time I got paid. So that was honestly like $200, to be honest, like every 2 weeks that I would put into the stock market. And by the time I was 23 years old, or 22 actually, the portfolio was at $60,000.
Amazing.
I invested in this stock called Shopify. Not financial advice, not telling you to buy this. But at the time, Shopify was around $200. And right now, or at that time in 2020, Shopify was around $1,200. So imagine each stock that I was buying grew by $1,000 per stock. And I didn't have to do anything except hold it. So that's why my portfolio was around $60,000. And I used that to purchase my first house at the age of 23.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I know some people listening might not know so much about stocks.
Yes.
Can you just give us a very brief, introduction about that?
Yeah. So stocks are when you own a part of a company. So you know those big companies all across the world, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, and like Nvidia, all these different companies that we hear of. A lot of us are just consumers of those products, right? We have our Apple Watch, we have our iPhone, but you can actually not just consume the products, you can also be a part owner of these companies. And then when people are buying those products, you included, you're benefiting from that as well. So that's what the stock market is. It's basically a collection of all these different publicly traded companies, and you can become a part owner in any of those companies. So that's what I decided to do. And basically, if you're in Nigeria, what you would do is go on Bamboo or Trove or Chaka, one of those platforms, and open an account, an investing account, and then it will give you access to all of those companies that I mentioned. And basically, let's say the stock is $100. You can say, okay, I have 10,000 Naira right now, and you can buy a portion of that stock instead of buying the full stock that there is. So that's basically what investing is. And the goal is that, okay, I bought the stock at $100. I'm hoping that it will increase in value. And let's say it goes to $150. Now, if I sell that stock, I have made $50 by basically doing nothing. And the reason I really encourage people to invest is because, of course, saving is good. I encourage everyone to save money, put your money in a savings account. But your savings, what interest rate are they giving? 10%, maybe like, I don't know, 8%. In Canada, it's like 3% right now, so it's not very much. So it's important that you put your money somewhere where you can actually see growth long term. So that's why I encourage investing in the stock market.
Okay. I don't know if you heard about this GTB shares at some point. Is it the same thing?
Yeah, so GTB is one of the banks here in Nigeria, and it is publicly traded as well, meaning anyone can become a part owner in GTB as well. Personally, I don't invest in the Nigerian stock market at all. I just think the economy in Nigeria is a little shaky right now.
Don't need to hide it.
And for the past however many years, it's been extremely shaky. My grandfather actually used to invest in GTB, and then he tried to cash those out when he was retiring. They weren't worth a lot, by that time. Because as much as they increased in value, the Naira decreased in value. So it's like, yes, you bought it for 5 Naira, now it's this many Naira. But 5 Naira was probably worth more than whatever it's worth right now. So yes, you can invest in Nigerian stocks, but I personally encourage Nigerians to invest in a stronger economy like the US. Even us that are in Canada, most of us invest in the US because we know that the US economy is stronger than Canadian. Okay.
So in tracking the stocks, because I remember you said at 23, you now later realized you had more to sell and all. So like, how do you track it? Because some of us during that time, we bought the shares. We did not know so much, but we said this is happening. When they say, your parents will say, at that time, those days, they were buying this, only if I bought. I would have been a rich man now. So we didn't want to feel left out. So how can we track it? What do we need to be checking and all?
Yeah. So when you say track the growth of the stock, you mean? So for GTB, I don't know exactly how you bought it, like what platform you used to buy it.
I think we used the app itself.
The GTB app.
Yes.
Okay. So ideally, wherever you buy the stocks is where you should also be tracking the stocks. But aside from GTB, let's talk generally.
Yeah.
If you're Nigerian, you can use Bamboo, Chaka, or Trove, and they will have a dashboard with all of your purchases on there. So it'll say, okay, you bought this stock at this price. Right now, it is either up or down, depending on the day, right? And then your progress should all be there. So I don't know about the banks, but the banks should operate the same way. But basically, you have a dashboard with all the different holdings that you have, and it should show your progress there. And I would say you don't need to check it on a daily basis or anything.
I know
Nigerians like to watch their money.
It has to grow.
Yes. For me personally, I check my portfolio once a month, maybe twice a month maximum. I get paid twice a month, so I just check it on those 2 days.
So you're saying when we buy stocks, we also get paid? Is that how it works?
So when I say I get paid for my employer, I'm my own employer, but I pay myself twice a month. Yeah, but yes, from stocks you can actually get paid. So there's things called dividends, and dividends are basically a cash payment that you can get as a result of owning a stock. So let's say you own Apple stocks. Every quarter, so every 3 months, you'll get a small payment from Apple because just kind of like a thank you. Like, oh, we made X amount of dollars this month. Here's a small cash payment that we're gonna pay you. And when you have 1 or 2, stocks, it's not a lot of money. But the more and more stocks you can get, the better your returns will be.
Nice.
For me, I tracked my dividends last year, and I think it was $1,600 of dividends that I received last year. So again, it's just some extra passive income that I made.
Right.
Yeah. If I was truly a dividend investor, which means you invest in only stocks that pay dividends, then you can make way more. But I'm more focused on what we call growth stocks, which are stocks that will grow faster than dividend stocks.
You know what I'm just getting from here? It's not just a one-time knowledge. It's something you invest in. You read books, you check out, you follow Reni on YouTube, watch her videos, and learn more, right?
Yeah.
So I would like to know, people speak on a lot of parts of, oh, I did this, I did that. What about the back end? Those times when you maybe cried at God, I just can't continue, or you needed money, like challenges you faced in savings, in investing. Did you have such experiences?
I would say because my parents, they taught me from a very early age.
Shout out to your parents.
Shout out to them for real.
Yeah.
I'm blessed that I didn't have huge issues when it came to money or anything. I would say the main mistake that I've made or challenge that I've had is actually investing in the wrong company. But because I decided to invest without doing any research. And I always encourage people, if you are going to start investing, make sure that you're researching the companies that you're investing in. Personally, like individual stocks like Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, it can be very time consuming to consistently research about those companies. So what I encourage people to do instead is to actually invest in funds when you're a beginner. So there are these things called ETFs, exchange traded funds. And basically you can buy an ETF and it will be a bunch of different stocks. Instead of buying just one stock, you're diversifying your risk amongst a lot of different stocks. So the mistake that I made was actually I invested in cannabis stocks. In Canada, cannabis was about to be legalized. And so everyone was like, oh, invest in these stocks and you'll make a lot of money once it blows. Right? Well, I didn't do any research. I was like, that makes sense. Let me invest. And I bought 2 different stocks. One, I made 150% return. It was amazing. But the other one, I lost 100%, all my money. So it was kind of evened out. I didn't make much money in that. So I would say if I had done research, I probably would have not to invest in those. Yeah. So that's the one mistake that I made when it came to finances.
Okay. Well, I learned from you.
Yeah.
You will not make the mistake you made.
Yes. And also another mistake I made was simply not tracking my spending. I think this is something a mistake most people
default in that a lot.
Yes. And it's you're making money, you're spending money on things, but do you know where your money is going every single month? Do you know, Gracie?
I guess. I do now.
Okay, good.
Should I tell you? Yeah. I think my money has been going to food, data, just those 2 things, and transportation. Recently, Nigeria everything is just times 2. So I track it.
Most people don't track their spending at all, and I find that when they're like, oh, I have no money to save, I have no money to invest, it's because you don't know where your money is going.
True.
If you saw that you were spending however many hundreds of thousands on XYZ, you would be like, maybe I can cut down a little bit on that and direct a bit of it towards my savings goals and my investing goals every month. So,
because I was about to ask you, how do you save?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can break it down for us because, we have people listening to my podcast. goes around through people who are young, maybe teenagers, people who are also in their early 20s, people who are trying to make money, and maybe they might be just making tiny or maybe something manageable. So how can they save from that? How should they budget? How should they break it down?
Yeah, I think people should get into the habit of saving a percentage of their income. So it's like, no matter if I make $1 million this month or I make 100,000 naira this month, I have a set percentage that I'm saving. And to start, maybe that's 10% of your income that you're putting away towards your savings. And ideally, you automate this payment.
Yes.
Yeah. I am big on automation.
Yeah.
And what automation means is that I get paid, let's say you get paid on the first day of every month. Let's say I make 300,000 naira. I know that, let's say 30,000 naira on the first of the month will go to my savings account. I don't even have the chance to spend it because it's automated and it goes directly from my current account directly to my savings account. And ideally, even if you can take it a step further and lock that savings account so you can't touch it, that would be great. But I would say automation is the key thing to help you save. And the second thing is to just try to make more money as well. It's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to save. But if you're not making enough money, it's very hard to save, right? So I would say focus on trying to increase your income as well. If you can market your services to people in other countries, that would be great as well. Remember, Nigeria is not the only market for you to make money. I know that for me, my virtual assistant is based in Nigeria. I pay her in US dollars. She's making a great salary for Nigerian standards, right?
She's saving too.
She is. I tell her too. Yeah. But, just know that Nigeria is not the only market that you can access to make money.
It's not. Yeah. And I think young people need to know that, because everybody's like, I'm in Nigeria, let's just get here, let's just manage. But the truth is that there are other opportunities outside. Well, how do you think we'll be able to get there?
Get those opportunities? I think, learning from people who already have those opportunities is honestly the easiest way to get those opportunities. There are so many people, especially like content creators online, who will say, I'm a virtual assistant making 9 figures. Like, I just met someone she said, I'm a virtual assistant making 9 figures, and this is how I did it. And so she shares the blueprint to do that. Some of them will even have courses. They'll have mentorship groups. Pay for the services, even if it's an investment into you making money later on. Even if they say, it's a 250,000 naira investment, trust me, if you can make $10,000 from investing 250,000 naira, I think it's worth it, So that would be my suggestion. There are people who already have the blueprint online. Also, there are websites, there's Fiverr, there's Upwork, there are different platforms that are meant for this, for you to list your services online. And also creating a personal brand around yourself, around whatever service that you're offering, it can help you to get international clients as well.
Yeah, no, just they say don't keep quiet about what you do.
Exactly.
Not like post unnecessary things, just post what you do. Yeah. And just be you, right?
Exactly.
So one more question I'd like to ask you is that, because I know people would listen to this podcast and they will still not save. People might listen to this podcast and they might not still achieve those goals they want to. So what do you think is holding them? What's that thing?
There are a few things. I think the first thing that holds people back is the fact that they don't have a goal in mind, right? So it's easy to say, I want to save money this year, but how much money do you want to save?
Right.
And how are you actually going to get to that goal? I know we hear this thing called SMART goals, right? You've heard of them. So goals that are specific, measurable, actionable, results-oriented, and time-bound. I know it seems like a cliche thing, but it's true that when you have SMART goals, you're actually able to achieve them more easily. So, for example, if you say, I want to save 1 million naira this year, how much naira do you need to save every single month in order to get there? Break it down into monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever cadence you get paid, break it down into that, and then automate it so that it doesn't rely on you and yourself to achieve that goal. It's automated and it goes, you're able to achieve it even if you don't, feel like achieving that goal. It's already done for you. So I think the first thing is people don't have goals around their money. I think the second thing that keeps people is that, they don't have the systems in place to achieve, or sometimes the goals that they have are not realistic for the income that they have.
Right. That's how you make more money.
Yeah. So again, if your goal is to save 1 million naira every year, but then you don't make enough to save that, or maybe you make enough, but your expenses are too high. then your goal is unrealistic, and then you're gonna feel defeated, like, oh,
True.
I'm not able to do this, and then you stop saving altogether, right?
Like, it's a lot.
Yeah. Another thing that's holding people back is, again, I mentioned it earlier, but those systems are not in place to help you achieve that goal. So I cannot emphasize how much automation will change your life.
Okay.
Motivation is fleeting. Motivation goes up and down. At the beginning of the year, it's January, you know, you're like, I'm excited. New year, new me. I'm going to achieve all my financial goals. But by the time February rolls around, you've forgotten about all of them. So instead of like depending on that motivation that you had in January, put the systems in place that you can achieve them without your motivation. Whether you have motivation or not, the money's coming out of your account.
It just goes to save.
Yeah, so I would say those are a few things that are holding people back. And I would say lastly, maybe the community that you are surrounding yourself with.
Right.
Yeah, that community, the people around you really impact you. If you are on this budgeting and saving journey, but you have friends that like to flex and spend every single day,
weekend.
you'll feel a bit left out, you know? Or when you're telling them, hey guys, I can't come out this week because I'm trying to do XYZ, they'll be like, ugh, what? Like, they'll look at you as if they look down on you. Exactly. So if you have people who are like-minded and you're surrounded by, it makes it a lot easier for you to achieve your goals. Okay. I had, my Don't Go Broke Trying event in Abuja this year. Yeah. Hopefully we'll bring it back later on in December this year. But that's a good way to find friends who are similar-minded to you,
right? I've made new friends like that.
For coming as well. So those are a few tips that I would give as well. And lastly, I think also the mindsets, You have to have a mindset that you are capable of achieving the dreams that you want to achieve. If you think that you are bad with money, you will be bad with money. So I know it sounds like a woo-woo, like, oh, whatever. But trust me, when you actually start to believe that I'm able to save more money, I'm able to make more money. Nigeria is not my only market that when you have those thoughts in mind, you're actually able to achieve those things. Obviously, there's work that is put in place aside that, but your mindset
matters a lot.
Yeah, it matters a lot. It influences everything.
Okay, that's why you also have those affirmations, right?
Yes, I do.
Can you give us two?
Okay, one affirmation would be, I am capable of achieving my money goals. That would be one thing. Okay. So I like to say every day in the mirror, we're saying it to ourselves that I am capable of achieving my money goals. And if you have a specific goal, say that in the mirror as well. I'm capable of saving 1 million naira this year. Simple things like that.
Okay, I need to prep my vision board. I need to put in some money affirmations in particular. That's amazing. So I know you've mentioned so many tips, but I would like to know, like, this is second to the last question. What's the best financial advice you give someone in their 20s concerning money?
The best. Okay, I have two.
Okay, give us the two.
The first piece of financial advice would be to optimize for making more money. I know it seems cliche. Everyone tells you to make more money, but like,
makes sense.
It's the easiest way to achieve any financial goal you have is to start making more money. So if you're in high school or secondary school and you're trying to figure out the degree to focus on one that has money making opportunities, in
Nigeria.
Yes, but there's some degrees, like, I'm not going to name any, but there's some degrees there's some degrees that there are very low job opportunities, job prospects, where there are some that can get you exactly. So focus on those ones that can help you. I know tech is a big thing right now.
It is.
And tech, you can work anywhere in the world and make great money through tech. So optimize for those degrees that are helping you to make money. Optimize for those job opportunities. And don't be afraid to pivot. I studied business. Now I'm a content creator full time. So they're not really that aligned, but I make a lot more money than I did when I was working at the bank, right? So that would be the first thing. And the second tip I would give is to get into the mindset of paying yourself first. So that's something that I am big on. Anytime you have money that comes in, always pay yourself first. Take a percentage of that and you say, this is my non-negotiable. 10% of everything I get, maybe you tithe first, and then the second 10% goes towards yourself. And when I say yourself, I mean saving and investing. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you so much for being on this episode.
No problem.
And as I told you before, we need to know your vibe for this episode.
Yes.
So that's a segment we do. So a song to vibe to, just something, to vibe to.
The song that I'm thinking of right now is Jazzy Song by Ira Star. She has a line that says, Last year I made money. This year I want $1 billion more. So that's our energy that we're going into 2025
$1 billion
with.
more.
Yes.
That's the motivation.
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you so much for being here.
No problem. Thank you for
Is there
having
anything
me.
you would like to tell my audience? Like,
yeah,
where can they follow you and stuff?
You can follow me on Instagram at XOReni, XORENI, on Twitter at the same handle, on YouTube at the same handle, and I have a podcast as well if you like long form content. It's called at Don't Go Broke Trying, and I teach people how to not go broke trying to live their best life. So yeah, you can follow me on any of those platforms.
Please do. If you don't, I'll find you in your dreams.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Reni.
Thank you.
I really, really do appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.